Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Very important hearing, and one of the key issues, of course, is the ability to locate a fellow first responder in an instrumental ingredient in any of the rescue efforts. This coordination is, without question, central to the ability to be able to ensure that in a dense urban area, simply knowing a first responder's longitude and latitude coordinates may not be enough. We must also know their altitude or their Z coordinate so that a more precise identification can be made. We need to know that there is a battalion of firefighters battling a blaze on the 14th floor of a building. We need to know the EMS is treating a patient on the lowest floor of an underground parking garage. We need to know there is a police squad engaging a suspect in an underground metro shop. These enhanced location services are potentially life-saving, and we must ensure they are in the hands of our first responders as soon as possible. Mr. Sambar, how quickly can AT&T bring those life-saving technologies to FirstNet?
Senator, we've actually had a lot of discussions over this just over the past couple of weeks with his technology group, as he mentioned.
That's why we're having
in Boulder,
the hearing.
Colorado.
It's forced conversations that, you know, can have peace and tranquility on the panel.
Perfect timing, I guess,
Yeah,
Senator.
perfect.
There are solutions out there for, as we call it, Z-axis location, and we understand just how important that is to public safety. The example we always use is a firefighter in a burning building, smoke inhalation, and he's down and needs help. Vitally important that we provide that. It is a contractual requirement with FirstNet. We will absolutely develop that. The concerns that we have at this time is the maturity of the technology and ensuring that that technology works at times when it should. So, for example, when the power goes out in a building, if there are pressure differences in the building created by a fire, how do we account for pressure differences? Some of the solutions on the market today require pressure as well as beacon systems. We want to make sure that all of that is vetted correctly. So working closely with the FirstNet Authority, we want to make sure that we bring that to market when it's ready, when it works correctly, and as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So, Mr. Poth, are you happy with the progress that's being made? How can we telescope the time frame that it is going to take for AT&T and you to reach an agreement that can, in fact, ensure that those services are available?
Yeah, and we do, with our contract, have an agreement. So by 2020, the solution set should be available. As Mr. Sambar said, some of the preliminary technology exists, but it is not in a position now to be deployed. And we're
Why so long? Why will it take until 2020, Mr. Poth?
That's the target that we'd set in the contract. There is technology exists today, but we don't believe it is yet as robust enough to be put out into the field. But we believe it's going to come along. If it moves up quicker, we are certainly going to advocate and work with AT&T to accelerate that.
But you are saying by 2020 it will be in place, Mr. Poth?
In the contract, the enhanced location service.
In the contract, yes.
Yes.
But in reality?
Well, and I'm very comfortable and confident that AT&T will be able to meet that requirement.
Are you confident, Mr. Sambar, you'll be able to meet that goal, 2020?
I am, sir.
Okay, good. Because life is 20% concept and 80% execution. So it's the execution part that we're...
Unfortunately, in this one, there's technology as the third leg.
Right.
In there,
I appreciate that.
And the technology is not mature, but we are working hard to get it there as soon as
So
possible.
that's what we want you to do, to maybe you walk over to those people and just say, I made a promise
Hurry
that I
up.
would get it done. Yeah, hurry up. You know, that's
Understand,
usually a good way of getting things that are in a pile, that the key thing is pulled out, and all of a sudden the attention is paid to it. So I appreciate you doing that, Mr. Sambar.
Sure.
And finally, FirstNet is supposed to establish this network. But, Mr. Sambar, given that states and municipalities already have existing public safety networks and devices, how will FirstNet work with and utilize existing communications resources to build out and deploy a national public safety broadband network? Can you commit to decreasing transition costs to the greatest extent possible?
Absolutely, Senator. So we have had a number of states as well as federal agencies we've been in communication with, and some of the states have been very direct that they are interested in us putting our LTE equipment on state, city, municipal-owned assets. That would give them the benefit of revenue from AT&T through a lease agreement. It would also give us the benefit of being able to build out the network faster. So we are actively in discussions with a number of states as well as federal entities to see what we can do to increase the speed of the build-out and share costs with the states. I think that's the benefit of this public-private partnership that we are in.
Mr. Poth, you want to add anything?
I think he hit it.
So you're just synchronicity between the two?
Well,
I think it'll.
We're not in a honeymoon period, but no.
We talk a lot, so
Yes.
we
It is a, you know, significant partnership and an endeavor, but we are also going to make sure that AT&T meets all the requirements.
No, and I understand that. Just, it's good that a couple of weeks ago you started talking in anticipation of this hearing, but it would be good if you were talking in the next 2 weeks after the hearing, because you can be sure that there will be another hearing. And it's always better to start out where you're going to be forced to wind up anyway. And so at that next hearing, you know, all of these things will be called much more closely into account so that we're sure we're on schedule. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How do you spell synchronicity?
It was a great song. Who
Withdraw
wrote
the
that?
question.
Who was that song, huh? Yeah, the Police. You know, so I got the beat. I don't know if I have the spelling. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Inhofe.
I'd like to just question for the record how much rhythm indeed the senator from Massachusetts has.
It is subject to question. Now, we're going to
Can I
have
say that
order in this community.
with the exception of the senator from New Jersey, I'm competitive with everyone else here, okay? So
Very low bar.